If this season you're finally upgrading your gear, let me tell you, start with your boots. Ski House makes it easy with custom boot fittings that actually change how you ski and how you feel at the end of the day. No more numb toes, no more fighting your turns. And while you're there, it's the perfect time to upgrade your skis or snowboard too. The team at Ski House really listens. Whether you're chasing powder or cruising groomers, better fit and better gear means more fun on the mountain. They've got locations in Woburn and Framingham, Mass, and tax-free Salem, New Hampshire. Just head to skihouse.com, that's skihaus.com, to check store hours and directions. And be sure to check the show notes for a special offer for ski moms from Ski House.
Welcome back to the Ski Moms podcast. It's season 5 and we're hitting the slopes. We're sharing real, unfiltered stories of motherhood on the snow. From conquering the bunny hill with toddlers to squeezing in your own powder days, this season celebrates every type of ski mom. Thanks for joining us. We've got a great season lined up, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Ski Moms are bringing back a classic episode. It was from our first season. Sarah, I looked it up. It's episode 12. The fact that Barbara and Cochran trusted us enough to come on season 1 is amazing. We are celebrating with this revisit because her son, Ryan Cochran-Siegle, just won a silver at the Cortina Olympics in Super G.
And I was looking back at the facts. So what's really amazing about this is Barbara won the gold by 0.02 seconds on February 11th, 1972 in Sapporo, Japan. And 54 years later to the day, yesterday, February 11th, 2026, her son, Ryan Cochran-Siegle, won his second Olympic silver medal in the Super G. So that's pretty amazing timing.
And I did look up, there's been 5 Cochrans. So the 4 siblings raised on the mountain, Cochran Mountain, have gone to the Olympics now. 2 of them have won medals, Barbara, BA, and Ryan. But that's a pretty good percentage in that family. And in that time, since we launched that episode 12 in our first season, I got to visit Cochran's. I went there and skied the legendary rope tow. It is no joke. There's one that's normal speed, and then there's the hot laps one where they actually have suede gloves that you put on top of your gloves because it is such a high speed tug. It shreds gloves. It's unbelievable.
It sounds like a workout. I remember the photos from when you did that, and you said it's not easy.
No, and it's such a classic Vermont experience. There's nobody checking lift tickets. It's $19 or pay what you can. And I remember walking along the parking lot, and there were families that were making a little barbecue. There was somebody who was feeding a baby. There's babies on backpacks. There's babies on backpacks coming down the Alpine Hill. You don't see that every day. And lots of hand knit articles. There's dogs in cars. There's fire pits going. There's such a happy cacophony in the lodge area. Have you ever been to a race there, Sarah?
Yeah, many times. Thank God for Snowmaking is an awesome race at the end of the season that often Ryan Cochran-Siegle will actually be found skiing in, and Barbara whipping up pancakes with their famous slopeside syrup, of course, on top.
His training is heavily subsidized by maple syrup, which is excellent.
We both have Olympic fever right now because we leave tomorrow night to fly to Italy.
So we're headed off to the Dolomites. As you're listening to this, we might be in flight. We might be eating some pasta. We might be sipping Prosecco. We don't know. But we will be giving you some live coverage in social media. You can find us at the Ski Moms. And then we will do a full download when we get back to the States. We'll probably be five pounds heavier, maybe not fit into our ski pants upon return. But we will have earned it all by cheering on Team USA. And I'm also going to be cheering on the other athletes because Alice Robinson, love her story. Federica is back from injury. Like we're there for all of the ladies and gentlemen on Team USA as well.
Absolutely cannot wait.
So enjoy this blast from the past. Barbara has a timeless story. Her enthusiasm and energy for ski racing and winter sports we think that you will find infectious. And we're also going to link to the other Olympians because the ski moms get around. We have some other classic interviews with Olympians. There's Keegan Randall. We've got Caitlin Richardson, Wendy Fisher. So enjoy our full catalog of Olympians that we've had on the podcast. And we will catch you very soon with our full Dolomite Cortina Milan Olympics review.
Unofficial.
Unofficial, not sponsored. The IOC did not give the ski moms press passes, which is a big fail, I think, on their part.
Agreed. This week, we are so honored to be joined by Barbara Cochran, ski mom, Olympic gold medalist, and sports psychology consultant. Barbara shares her stories of growing up alongside the sport of ski racing and the Cochran family's incredible skiing history. Barbara's words have inspired us to stay positive and recognize the invaluable life lessons our kids learn from skiing and racing. Welcome, Barbara.
Sarah and I met when the girls were tiny. I think they started ski racing together when they were 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, parents, you've got to make it fun or it's going to be a really long ski season. So you find find other moms who want to ski, who are good at, they have a strong crock pot cooking game.
Right.
And that's how we became friends. And we launched this podcast a year ago because we wanted to share our joy of skiing and spending time with our families in the mountains. And also to make it easier, a lot of new families, it can just be overwhelming, just the getting skiing portion of it, let alone the racing, which is, another whole thing. So we are tapping into experts like you to get stories of the slopes and how you're making it happen. So we're so excited to have you on the podcast.
Well, I'm thrilled that you thought of me, that you're asking me to do it. So yeah, it's awesome. It's yeah, I feel like at Cochran's we start with ski tots. So when the kids are like 3 years old, they can start getting involved in it. And then it's like we hook them, you know? And so many of those kids, or not, I mean, a lot of those kids will go on to the ski club. And I just feel like those early years, it's so much fun. It's like, it's not pressure. It's, those kids are so excited to get into the course. And then they move up. It used to be, they move up from J5s to J4s to J3s to J2s. And it's like every move was like, oh my goodness, we didn't really know what we were getting into here. But yeah, but it's awesome. Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice
Yeah,
to
so
meet you.
you were just making me think of when my younger ones started racing, and when they're so little, it's so cute, and it's very cute when they make the mistakes. Like she came to her first undergate and she stopped to evaluate it and then did it wrong, and everyone just went, oh. And there was
Yeah.
another time where it's a really long flat at the end of a course, and she stopped before the finish line. And then I'll never forget her looking at they used to write the timing up on the wall, on a big board, and her
Right.
being very happy that she had the highest score. So I always, I always look back and think that was all very cute. And then it gets
Yeah.
more and more serious, and unfortunately less and less cute, right? As they
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
on. Can you tell us your ski origin story? How old were you? Who taught you? Walk us
So
through.
my dad was a high school teacher at Windsor High School. And so we started skiing at Mount Ascutney in Brownsville, Vermont. And I was so young. I think I was like maybe 2. I don't remember ever not skiing. I was too young to remember it. But dad was a ski coach, and so it was like we were always skiing. And then we started racing at Mount Ascutney. Dad and some other people, I think, started the Lollipop program. So the Lollipop program introduced us to racing. If you won your age group, which I don't even know what the age groups were. All I know is that I don't remember ever winning a lollipop. But it was fun, it just, everybody did it. And our cousins skied there. So it's just kind of like this great big family. beyond just relatives. I mean, it was a great big skiing family. And then we moved, as a school teacher, Dad felt that he couldn't support the family on a teacher's salary. So he got a job with General Electric in Burlington, and we moved to South Burlington for a couple of years. And then, and they were looking for a place to ski. So the first year was Underhill Snowball. And then after that, we went to Smugs. So we skied at Smugs, Dad, but we started racing the Northern Vermont Council. I think that was new when we started racing. I think there were, and we just started racing against, Stowe, Jay Peak. What I'm realizing now is how much a part of history my growing up was in the skiing industry. It's like I just felt like it was there forever. But even the World Cup, like when I first started racing nationally, there was no World Cup. That was started like 1967, I think. So I raced in some of the very first World Cup races in the States. I didn't go to Europe at first. But, so it was a step-by-step thing where, you race locally at your ski club or your ski mountain, and then you start branching out as you get a little bit older and start racing at these against other competitors from other ski clubs. And then, when I was a freshman in high school, I made the Eastern team for the junior nationals, and so went to junior nationals. I ended up winning the giant slalom, and then the U.S. ski team started a new program called the Hopefuls program. And so I was named to the Hopeful squad with my sister Marilyn, and that's when we started training in the summer, and from there started racing nationally, and then did well enough nationally. Eventually, like that next year, I think I made the A team, because that's also evolved. It used to be the U.S. ski team, and that was the A team. There was nothing else. And then there was the A team and the hopeful squad. And then they started to do, well, the A team, the B team, then started racing World Cups, started going to Europe. I was still in high school when I started racing World Cups in Europe. And so I just remember, especially my senior year, I missed so much school, but my school was great. That was before academies, and so, I just worked with the teachers, and they were so proud of us, all of us racing, and how well we were doing. And so that's how it sort of evolved. It was step by step by step.
So did your sister go along with you? Was she also joining World Cup races? And
Yeah. So Marilyn's she's 11 months older than I am, and she was doing World Cup races uh when I started doing the World Cup races. She was better than I was for most of the time. Um until, like, I think once I got into high school, I started to catch up to her a little bit. My brother and I were born in the same year, so we moved up together. There's 22 months between my older sister and my younger brother, and I'm in the middle. So we were very, very close. And then Lindy was like about 18 months younger than Bob. And so all four of us were close.
Tell me a little bit about your dad's ski racing philosophy.
In a book that he wrote with a ghostwriter, there's a piece of it that says, we call it the Cochran Way. Let me read it to you. I just tried to make skiing a heck of a lot of fun. I always told them, meaning me and my siblings, even if you don't win a lot of races, you can still enjoy the excitement of competing in them. But I also tried to make them realize that ski races are won in split seconds, and that winning would require a lot of nitpicking and a lot of work on details. It takes this to do a good job on anything in life. Also, I've always felt that every individual should strive to excel in something. I felt it was excellent training for our youngsters to learn to reach for a very high level of perfection and to develop the skills to where they could be quite accomplished, not so much from the winning standpoint, but just to experience the hard work necessary to excel. I think that this is an invaluable lesson in life, and it's what I hoped all our kids would learn from skiing. So the first FIS race was at Glen Ellen, and Dad took us. Dad took Bobby, Marilyn, and I. And I just remember coming home. Mom came to the door and was greeting us, and Dad said, "Guess who won?" And she said, "Marilyn." And Dad said, "No." And he had my little trophy in his hand, and he said, and then she said, "Bobby?" And he said, "Nope." And then she said, "Well, who won?" She didn't expect me to be able to do that. So,
And so your dad was all of your coaches?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we had Mom and Dad wanted to get into the country, and Dad especially wanted to find a place with a hill in the backyard that he could put up a rope tow because we had all started racing by then, and he was a good athlete himself, and he knew that it was really important to train more than just on weekends. So he had this dream. He wanted to put up a rope tow in the backyard. In September of 1960, they closed on the house with 100 acres with a beautiful hill in the backyard that wasn't very big, but it was perfect for putting up a rope tow. And it had good exposure, so because that was before snowmaking, we were able to he put up the rope tow, cut down the trees for trails, and had it started the beginning of February of 1961. I'm not sure what year exactly, but we would train. Dad put up lights on the back of the house, and then I think one or two light poles on the hill itself. And so we could train at night. So we'd go to school, we'd come home, we'd do our homework, have dinner, and then I don't know, about 6:30 at night, somebody'd go down, turn on the lights, and our friends would come and train with us. It was so much fun. It was just every
What
Tuesday and Thursday night. It was like this little party that we'd have on skis and we'd be training.
What an ultimate ski dad he sounds like, to do
Yeah,
all this. I'm sure it's partially his passion, but to help his kids pursue their passions and just so incredibly creative. I mean, I can't imagine the money that would be involved in it now, 1961 and all of these, these years, 60 years later. I don't even know if that would be possible anymore.
with how expensive skiing has gotten, I was thinking if my son were starting racing now, it would have been very, very difficult for me to support him to race at the level and get to the level that he is right now.
So you were saying, every few nights that everyone goes out and trains. Was it something you all always wanted to do? It sounds like a lot of fun. There was never anyone kicking and screaming.
I mean, I have friends that say, "Boy, you must have gotten so much pressure from your parents to be ski racers." And I said, "Actually, no, we didn't." It's like they set the guidelines for if we wanted to be a ski racer, they wanted us to put our best effort into it. Dad was really cognizant of the injury factor, and so he wanted to make sure that we were as strong as possible. So when I was 13, he sort of challenged us. Like he said, like how many push-ups can you do? Or how many sit-ups can you do? And so then we got into the uh to a conditioning program where, he set it up, he made charts for us so we could keep track of it. And plus we were really strong because we trained on the rope tow all the time. And we had to be strong to hold that rope and make the lap.
Yeah, someone was telling me about how with a rope tow, I mean, obviously you're not sitting between runs, but there's ankle strength getting developed, and there's a lot of benefits to rope tow training that probably, wasn't on your father's radar. It was more that he wasn't building a chairlift, but all these like
Exactly.
knock-on effects. So when we were looking at Cochran's today, what is the lodge today? Was that your house?
The house that we grew up in is still there, and when you first turn into Cochran's, that's a house on the right, and that's where we grew up. It'd be so much fun to have him come back and visit and see what's there. Because That what's there now is more than what he envisioned.
Tell us a little bit about that. So, in 1961, it was open for you, your family, and some ski friends. When did it transition to becoming a business, and who owns it and operates it now?
On our recent trip to Deer Valley, we didn't bring skis. Ski butlers got us set up right at the Grand Hyatt. No dragging gear through the airport, no rental lines, no wasted time. Just land, ski, repeat. If you're heading to Utah and still lugging your skis, it might be time to upgrade how you travel. Ski moms can save 20% on their reservations with our exclusive link found in the show notes.
So it always was public. People could come and ski when we were open, and that's a piece that I'm not really sure about. So it always was a business, but it was his hobby business at first.
For someone who's never been to Cochran's, can you just give them a description of what they would be driving up to when they come to ski there?
Yeah, so they drive up to the upper lot, and then you can see that the lodge is up on the hill behind them. And what they'll see the T-bar. Um, it comes down to the bottom of the hill, depending on how you divide it, 4 or 5, maybe 6 trails if you really exaggerate a little bit, and 3 lifts. There's the T-bar, a rope tow, and the Mighty Mite. The Mighty Mite is on the lower part of the hill, which is our beginner area. What they would see there is lots and lots of kids. We have snowmaking there, so that saves us because we are a pretty low elevation. If we had to rely on natural snow like we did when I was growing up, there'd be times that we wouldn't be able to be open much at all. It's not real big, but it's a lot of fun.
And is there still night skiing?
There is on Friday nights, there's night skiing for the public. I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There's night skiing for training for various high school teams and the Cochran Ski Club. But the public can ski on Friday nights. On the weekends, we're not open at night.
We were looking at the website at Cochran's, and we saw the statement that no child will be denied the opportunity to ski or ride. What is, Cochran's view on getting kids skiing?
The price of skiing at Cochran's is very inexpensive. It's $19 for an adult for a day ticket, and it's I think $15 for a child for a day ticket. A family pass includes everybody in the family, and that is $295 for the family. It actually was a vision of Jimmy, my nephew, who is the general manager there. A few years ago, he said he would like to see if we can sell more season passes if we drop the price. And so we dropped it from $395 to $295. We've sold more family passes and made more money from the family passes than keeping it at the higher price. We have programs that the Boys and Girls Club comes once a week during the winter for 8 weeks or something like that at no charge. Like we have them use equipment. They come, they don't pay for a ticket, and we get volunteers that will work with them to teach them how to ski.
And so it's a nonprofit, right? And
It
so
is a nonprofit, yeah. So we end up, we apply for grants, we apply for fundraising, or have fundraising that we do, and so that's one of the ways that we try and offer these programs.
We love the stories of the mountain and your somewhat humble description of your skiing, that you weren't the fastest one in the family, but you are a gold medal winner. So I think we're kind of, as they say in journalism, we're burying the lead a little bit here, that we're deep into this talk. Apparently you got really, really fast chasing the siblings. So that was in 72. And do you, we don't see the medal in the background. We're talking to you. Is it somewhere at the mountain? Do you keep it close by?
No, once Ryan won his medal, then I dug it out from home. So I dug it out from home and brought it. So it's in my bedroom.
So tell us what was your Olympic experience like?
My response was always the same, and I think this really helped me because it became an affirmation for me, and I knew nothing about affirmations. But what I would say is like, I don't know if I'm going to win at the Olympics, but what I do know is that I'm capable of winning. And by saying it that over and over and over again, by the time I got to the Olympics, it was like I knew I could ski with the best of them. That was no problem. In the slalom, uh, that was the last race at the Olympics that year for the women, and I had drawn number 1. That was number 1 was my favorite number to get. I love going first. And I didn't get number 1 very often, but I I know the first World Cup race I ever won, I had drawn number 1. But I do remember after the first run, I won the first run by 300ths of a second. I started to get really nervous because I started to think, oh, like I could win this race. I could, but what if I make a mistake? What if I fall? What if I, like, but it was like, how do I stay ahead of everybody else? I started to think about, getting the results I wanted, and that started making me really nervous, and I could feel myself choking. So I remember thinking I was studying the course for the second run, and back then, we used to start from the bottom and hike up through and memorize the course from the bottom to the top, which is the best way to memorize a course. I started. I could feel myself choking, and so I said, "Come on, BA." In my head, I was going, "All right, come on, BA. You've got to change how you're thinking because right now this is not working." And so I did. I started to think, okay, number 1, I'm just going to do the best that I can. That's all I can do is put my best effort into it. Number 2, if the French girls can win, because they were the strong team up to that point, they didn't do very well at the Olympics, but up to that point, they were the team to beat. I said, if those French girls can win, I can too. And the third thought I had was, I thought of my dad because 2 years before at the World Championships, again, I hadn't won the first run. I was in the top 10, but I was, I don't know, 7th or 8th or something like that. And I was getting really nervous because I wanted to do better than that. And so after I memorized the course for the second run, I went to the top. I was at the top, and my dad I knew was in behind the fence that they had blocked all the spectators off, but I knew he was there. And so I went over to him and looked for him, and he saw me, came over, and I said, "Dad, I'm just really nervous for the second run." And he was so calming. He said, "I always thought you were the cool cucumber in the family." And when he said that, I went, "Oh yeah, I am." So so then it changed my thinking. It was like I wasn't worried about how I was gonna do or anything. I was just going, "Okay, I'm the cool cucumber in the family." And so that's what I thought about at the Olympics too. I'm the cool cucumber in the family.
I love that you were doing positive self-talk back, before, all the sports psychology has come to that point that is, one of the key things, for athletes. And I love that I was just listening to a podcast about this and that said it's even more effective if you talk to yourself and use your name or a name that call yourself. And I love that you were saying, come on, BA, you've got this, because you're so far ahead of your time with the sports psychology. It's really interesting.
Now that with my business and I've learned a lot about sports psychology, I go, okay, like there's a lot of stuff that happened back when I was racing that was good stuff that I didn't even know. I didn't know about affirmations. I didn't really know about positive self-talk. I didn't know, but I learned a lot from my dad, and he was like, to me, he just had a knack for saying the right things And one of the things, like when Ryan went to the Olympics in 2018, I wrote him a letter. And in that letter, I wanted him to understand that to me, it was all about putting in my best effort. And I said, I was just as proud as the 11th place that I came in giant slalom as I was when I won. So that I think was, I wanted him to understand that. And he said, that was a pretty powerful statement for him to read. And then in 2018, he came in 11th in the giant slalom.
If your child lives for mountain biking and is constantly pushing their limits on two wheels, we've found the summer experience that truly checks every box. Woodward, Pennsylvania's Mountain Bike Summer Camp is redefining what an action sports camp can be, blending epic outdoor adventure, professional level coaching, and a whole lot of fresh air. Kids are developing real skills, learning progression and safety, and building confidence on world-class terrain with coaches who are deeply invested in helping them grow. Woodward's 5 to 7 day camps are designed for riders of all ages and abilities. And because it's Woodward, the experiences go beyond biking. Think community, mentorship, and that special kind of independence kids gain when they're challenged in the best way. Ski moms can save $150 off Woodward summer camps by using code SKIMOMS at checkout. Just head to woodwardpa.com/summer-camps/mountain-bike to learn more. That's code SKIMOMS for $150 off and an unforgettable summer on two wheels.
And what about Ryan? Were you his early coach or
No,
no? You passed that
I
off
was
to
his early teacher on how to ski. Just when he wasn't quite 3, he was within a month of turning 3 and he got it on his own. And that was like so nice because then it was like you didn't have to ski with him between the legs anymore.
It's backbreaking.
Yeah. And I would like one of the things I wanted to find out was okay, when you guys are in the start, what are some of the things that you're thinking there? And for Ryan, he was like 5 years old when I did this. His response was, I can't wait to go. And I thought, that is perfect.
I just had a question about Ryan though. So all through high school, did he ski for Cochrans?
As a freshman, he went to Mount Abe Union High School and he actually raced for Mount Abe that year as well as Cochran's. And then when he was a sophomore, he went to Mount Mansfield Academy and so went the next 3 years to Mount Mansfield Academy. I just felt like I couldn't imagine just sending him off at a real young age. I was pretty protective as far as how much he could go other places.
And then did he go and ski in college?
Well, when he was a senior in high school, he came in 6th in the Super G at nationals, and he won the junior national title for that, and that sort of put him on the radar for the U.S. ski team. I was a single mom. I was a part-time teacher, school teacher, and then I taught at Cochran's, and then I do a little bit of the mental coaching for athletes. But it's like I didn't make a lot of money, but that year he actually, for his birth year, he was ranked 4th in the world in Super G and 7th in the world in giant slalom. And in our country, he was ranked first in the U.S. in I think 4 out of 5 events. And so the U.S. ski team really wanted him to join the ski team. I didn't have the money to pay for it, and so I remember getting this email from the U.S. ski team that said, "Congratulations, Ryan Cochran-Siegle has been nominated for the development team for the U.S. ski team. And if he chooses to accept, we need $5,000 by June 1st, which was the first installment. There were 4 installments, so $20,000 to be on the ski team." That's going, I was making probably $36,000. I didn't have that kind of money. So I declined. I said, thank you for the nomination. But Ryan Cochran-Siegle declines the nomination. And I gave him two reasons. One was that I didn't have that kind of money. And the other thing was that it was the first year that he was out of school. He was going to do a PG year. He could have time to actually get a job and work and earn some money to help pay for his skiing. And then Mo at Stowe was saying, he was talking to the coaches and seeing if he could stay at Stowe but be named to the team, which would have been really helpful because then he could get the insurance, the health insurance with the ski team. And they wouldn't let him do it if he was going to be named to the team. But then they came up with a lot of scholarships for him so that he could do it that way. So he made the development team um, as a senior in high school.
Well, as we're wrapping up, we did want to ask a little bit about your coaching program. So, are you still actively with your the mental fitness portion of it? Are you still doing that business? And what types of families are you looking would be a good match for you?
Yeah, I am still doing that. And actually this year, during the winter, it always was tough because I ran the ski school at Cochran's. And this year was my last year. I retired from that. So now I feel like, oh, good. Now I can have more time to do that. Because during the winter is when I get the most interest. People want to work with me. But there's some athletes that I'm working with now. I mean, the athletes that just feel like, especially the athletes that feel like they train better than they race, which is a lot of athletes, then those are ideal candidates. The youngest I've worked with is a 10-year-old, and that's a little bit challenging. I feel like she definitely gets something out of it, but I think to start like at least 12, but high school age is I'm working with a lot of kids that are high school age or beyond that. I mean, like even at the World Cup level, there's some that I still work with at the World Cup level. I call my program How to Gain the Competitive Edge. And when I work with an athlete, there's a workbook that I've written that I send digitally to the athlete. And then, like I want them to understand mindset. I want them to understand, what the growth mindset is, which is really what I described what my dad's philosophy was and what the fixed mindset is. Because most of the athletes that I work with are they tend to focus on the results or they focus on things from the past or from the future. It's like what they want to do in the race, like who they want to beat or who they don't want to have beat them or
And where would families get in touch or athletes get in touch with you to find out more?
they can go to my website, which is sportsuccesscoaching.com.
Do you have a favorite après ski drink or snack, or maybe it's maybe it's even something that's served in the lodge there?
I love that question that you had, and I was thinking about it. I was going, yeah, it's like I love getting hot chocolate afterwards. That's my favorite. Coming in for hot chocolate.
And how much is the hot chocolate at Cochran's? Because I think there's an $8 one that you can get at Deer Valley. What do you do? You try to keep it affordable there?
Yeah, it's $1.50.
We are so incredibly thankful for your time, and this is going to be an incredibly challenging podcast to edit. We're going to want to keep it all in there, but thank you so much. So many great stories from your history, and then so many great tips for athletes who are in the thick of it right now. And thank you for keeping Cochran's a resource for Vermont families to ski, to learn to ski, to learn to fall in love with skiing at a price that is attainable for just about everybody.
Well, you're welcome, and thank you. I'm so impressed with your podcast and what you do. I went and listened to some, and it's like I'm amazed at what you're doing. It's awesome.
Hey, Ski Moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. Plus, we love hearing from you. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing. Planning your next mountain holiday? Skip the crowded platforms and check out Ski Mom Family Rentals, a trusted space to find family-friendly homes in ski towns across North America. And if you're a homeowner, it's a smart way to get your property in front of like-minded ski families without the big fees. Whether you're booking your next getaway or want more visibility and bookings for your home, visit skimomfamilyrentals.com and make your mountain time matter.